Have you ever wondered why some people seem to achieve success effortlessly while others struggle to move forward? The secret lies not in talent or luck, but in the small, consistent habits that shape their everyday lives. Habits are the building blocks of success, yet few people realize their true power. In this book, you'll discover how to harness habits to build a mindset that attracts growth, achievement, and fulfillment. Habits Power. Build a success-focused mindset. Written and published by Brainpower Blueprint. Chapter 1. The Habit Blueprint. Understanding the Foundations of Success. Have you ever stopped to think about how much of your life runs on autopilot? From the way you get out of bed in the morning to how you interact with others or approach your work, much of what you do is shaped by deeply ingrained habits. These automatic routines guide your actions without requiring much conscious thought, yet they wield an incredible amount of power over your life. The surprising truth is that your habits, even more than your intentions or aspirations, determine the trajectory of your life. If you want to build a success-focused mindset, the journey begins with understanding and mastering these habits, turning them into tools for growth rather than obstacles. Habits are like the unseen architects of your daily life, shaping your behaviors and decisions with remarkable consistency. They form as a result of repeated actions, which over time become ingrained in your brain, allowing you to perform them almost effortlessly. This mechanism is both a gift and a challenge. On one hand, it frees your mind to focus on more complex tasks, but on the other, it means that bad habits can embed themselves just as easily as good ones. Think of driving a car. In the beginning, every movement, checking mirrors, shifting gears, pressing the pedals, requires deliberate thought. Over time, these actions become second nature. Now think of habits as the steering wheel of your life. Are your habits helping you navigate toward your goals, or are they silently steering you off course? Consider the example of Lisa, a professional striving to advance her career. Each evening, Lisa planned to dedicate an hour to developing her skills. But when the time came, she often found herself scrolling through social media or watching TV instead. Lisa wasn't lazy, she was simply caught in the grip of a habit loop. Her brain had learned to associate the end of the workday with unwinding in front of a screen. This wasn't intentional. It was an unconscious response that had taken root over time. Once Lisa recognized this pattern, she took the first step toward change, identifying her habits and understanding how they shaped her behavior. This is where the habit loop becomes essential to understanding and changing behavior. The habit loop consists of three parts: the cue, the routine, and the reward. The cue is the trigger that initiates the habit, such as a specific time, place, or feeling. The routine is the behavior you perform in response to the cue. The reward is the positive reinforcement your brain receives, which strengthens the habit over time. In Lisa's case, the cue was finishing work. The routine was reaching for her phone. The reward was the immediate sense of relaxation and distraction. This cycle repeated itself daily, reinforcing the habit and making it difficult to break. Understanding the habit loop allows you to dissect your existing habits and rebuild them with intention. Let's say you want to develop a habit of exercising every morning. The first step is identifying the cue. This could be something simple like placing your workout clothes next to your bed the night before. Next, establish the routine, getting dressed and doing a 15-minute workout. Finally, reward yourself with something that feels satisfying, like enjoying a refreshing smoothie or taking a moment to reflect on your progress. The reward reinforces the behavior, making it more likely to stick. As you repeat this loop consistently, your brain begins to associate the cue with the new routine, embedding the habit into your daily life. Realizing the power of habits is a revelation, but it also comes with responsibility. It means that no matter where you are in life, you have the power to change your trajectory by changing your habits. This doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't require perfection. What it does demand is consistency, patience, and a willingness to take small, intentional steps. Each habit you develop becomes a stepping stone, building a pathway to a greater version of yourself. It's about recognizing that growth is a process, one shaped by deliberate choices repeated over time. Take a moment to reflect on your current habits. Are they helping you move toward your goals, or are they holding you back? The first step to building a success-focused mindset is awareness. Pay attention to the small, repeated actions that make up your days, the ones that feel so natural you might not even notice them. These actions, whether productive or unproductive, are the foundation upon which your future is built. By bringing these habits into your conscious awareness, you can begin to reshape them, aligning your daily routines with your aspirations. The beauty of mastering habits is that each one creates a ripple effect, influencing other areas of your life. When you cultivate a habit of waking up early, for example, it can lead to more productive mornings, better time management, and even improved mental clarity. Small changes compound over time, creating momentum that pushes you closer to your goals. Habits may work quietly in the background, but their impact is anything but small. They are the silent engines driving the direction of your life. With this understanding, the next steps are clear. Start small. Identify one habit that aligns with your goals and focus on embedding it into your routine. Celebrate each small victory and don't be discouraged by setbacks. They're part of the process. Most importantly, trust in the power of consistency. By shaping your habits with intention, you are shaping your future, one action at a time. Now let's bring this chapter to a close with a practical exercise. Take out a notebook or open a digital note on your device. Write down 3 habits you currently practice daily, both good and bad. For each habit, identify the cue, the routine, and the reward. Ask yourself, how does this habit impact my life? Is it aligned with my goals? If it's not, brainstorm one small change you could make to replace it with a positive habit. Reflect on this for a few minutes and commit to making one small shift starting tomorrow. Understanding the foundations of your habits is the first step toward taking control of your life. With each step forward, you are moving closer to the success-focused mindset that will unlock your full potential. Keep going. The best version of you is waiting. Chapter 2. Starting Strong. Building the right habits from day one. Every great journey begins with a single step, and the same is true for building habits. The challenge isn't simply starting a new habit, it's starting the right habits in the right way. Habits, like seeds, need proper care to grow into strong, lasting routines. They require attention, consistency, and a clear sense of purpose to flourish. But how do you ensure you're planting seeds of success rather than weeds that choke your progress? The answer lies in deliberate action and clarity about what you truly want to achieve. Taking the time to plan your habits thoughtfully can make all the difference between fleeting attempts and lasting change. The process of starting strong begins with understanding what habits will truly serve your goals. Many people make the mistake of diving into habit formation without reflecting on their reasons for doing so. Consider Sarah, a young entrepreneur inspired by articles praising early risers. She decided to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, believing it would enhance her productivity. However, she struggled to stick with this routine because it didn't align with her actual needs. Sarah's business often involved late-night meetings, making early mornings impractical. Instead of improving her performance, the habit left her exhausted and frustrated. After some reflection, Sarah adjusted her approach. She introduced a midday planning session and a short evening reflection instead, habits tailored to her schedule and aligned with her priorities. These changes brought consistency and success, demonstrating that habits must fit your unique circumstances to be effective. The lesson here is simple. Habits should be intentional and tailored to your life. Before committing to a new habit, ask yourself, what do I want this habit to achieve? And how does this habit fit into my current lifestyle? Being clear about your intentions not only helps you choose the right habits, but also provides motivation when challenges arise. This clarity ensures your habits serve as tools for growth rather than sources of stress or obligation. Another key to starting strong is beginning with small, manageable changes. The allure of instant transformation is tempting, but trying to change everything at once often leads to burnout. Imagine deciding to get fit and setting a goal to run 5 miles every morning despite not having exercised in months. On the first day, you push yourself to run the full distance, only to wake up sore and discouraged the next morning. This all-or-nothing approach is a recipe for failure. Instead, start with something achievable, like a 5-minute jog or a short walk. These small actions are sustainable and build the foundation for bigger accomplishments. Starting small not only makes habits easier to adopt, but also builds confidence. Each small victory reinforces your belief in your ability to change, creating momentum that propels you forward. James, a busy father, wanted to read more, but felt overwhelmed by the thought of finishing a book. Instead of giving up, he started reading just 1 page a day. Over time, his small habit grew into a daily 30-minute reading routine, allowing him to finish multiple books in a year. James's experience illustrates how starting small creates the consistency needed for meaningful progress. Equally important to starting small is creating clear triggers for your new habits. A trigger is the signal that reminds you to take action, anchoring your habit in your daily routine. Without a clear trigger, even the most well-intentioned habits can be forgotten amidst the busyness of life. Think about brushing your teeth. It's something most people do automatically because it's tied to existing routines, like waking up or going to bed. By attaching a new habit to an existing routine, you make it easier to remember and execute. For example, if you want to start meditating, you could decide to do it immediately after brushing your teeth in the morning. The act of brushing your teeth becomes the cue that triggers your meditation practice. Over time, this connection becomes automatic, making it easier to stick with the habit. Triggers provide structure, ensuring your new behaviors have a natural and consistent place in your day. As you begin forming habits, don't forget to celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Positive reinforcement is a powerful motivator, and recognizing your achievements, even seemingly minor ones, keeps you encouraged. Completing your first week of a new habit, for instance, is worth celebrating with something enjoyable, like a favorite meal or a relaxing activity. These moments of acknowledgement help your brain associate the habit with positive emotions, reinforcing your commitment and making the process more rewarding. Building the right habits isn't just about action. It's also about mindset. It's important to be patient with yourself as you navigate the early stages of habit formation. Progress may be slow at first, and it's normal to encounter setbacks. Missing a day or feeling unmotivated doesn't define your journey. It's what you do next that matters. Each time you recommit to your habit, you strengthen your resolve and lay another brick on the path to lasting change. Ultimately, every small step you take is a step closer to becoming the person you want to be. The key is to start with habits that align with your goals and to approach them with intention and persistence. With the right strategies and a commitment to consistent action, you'll find that your habits become the building blocks of success, guiding you steadily toward the future you envision. Now, let's bring this chapter to a close with a practical exercise. Think about one habit you've always wanted to build. Take a few minutes to clearly define why this habit is important to you and how it aligns with your goals. Next, identify a small, manageable way to start this habit today. For example, if you want to start exercising, commit to just 5 minutes of stretching or walking. Finally, choose a trigger to remind you to practice your new habit, such as pairing it with an existing routine. Reflect on how this approach makes starting your habit feel achievable and motivating. Write down your plan and take action today. Starting strong is about setting yourself up for success from the very beginning. By choosing the right habits, starting small, and creating effective triggers, you are laying a solid foundation for a life filled with growth and achievement. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to unlocking your full potential. Keep going. You've already begun an incredible journey. Chapter 3. Breaking Barriers. Overcoming Resistance to Change. Change is never easy, even when it's for the better. Why is it that we often resist new habits, even when we know they'll improve our lives? This resistance isn't a sign of weakness or laziness. It's a natural part of how our brains are wired. Breaking old patterns and embracing new ones requires effort, patience, and a clear understanding of the obstacles in our way. In this chapter, you'll learn how to recognize and overcome the resistance that stands between you and the habits you want to build. One of the biggest barriers to change is fear. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, or even fear of success. These fears can be subtle, lurking in the back of your mind as self-doubt or procrastination. For example, imagine Alex, a college student who wanted to start journaling to improve his mental clarity. Every time he sat down to write, a small voice in his head told him he wasn't good enough, that his thoughts weren't worth writing down. This fear of not being perfect held Alex back from even starting. Once he acknowledged his fear and reframed his mindset, he realized that the act of journaling was more about self-expression than producing a flawless piece of writing. This shift allowed him to overcome his resistance and start journaling daily. Another common barrier is the comfort of familiarity. Your brain is designed to conserve energy by sticking to what it knows, which is why changing habits can feel so difficult. Even when your current routines aren't serving you, they're familiar and easy to maintain. Breaking out of this comfort zone requires intentional effort. Think about Mia, a marketing professional who wanted to improve her physical fitness. She knew she needed to exercise more, but found it hard to give up her routine of relaxing on the couch after work. Instead of trying to overhaul her evenings all at once, she started small by replacing 10 minutes of her TV time with a short walk. Gradually, she expanded this habit into a full workout routine, proving that even small steps can lead to significant change. Another source of resistance is the overwhelming nature of starting something new. Big goals, while exciting, can feel intimidating when you don't know where to begin. This can lead to analysis paralysis, where you spend more time thinking about the habit than actually doing it. Consider Raj, an aspiring writer who wanted to complete his first novel. Every time he sat down to write, he felt overwhelmed by the sheer size of the project. To overcome this, he broke his goal into smaller, manageable tasks, such as writing just 200 words a day. By focusing on small, consistent progress, Raj eventually completed his novel without feeling overwhelmed. A powerful way to combat resistance is to reframe your mindset. Instead of viewing new habits as a challenge, see them as opportunities to grow and improve. For instance, if you're trying to eat healthier, focus on how good it feels to nourish your body rather than viewing it as a restriction on your favorite foods. Reframing your perspective helps shift your focus from what you're giving up to what you're gaining, making the process more enjoyable and sustainable. Another key strategy is to anticipate and plan for obstacles. Resistance often arises when unexpected challenges throw you off course. By identifying potential roadblocks in advance, you can develop strategies to navigate them. For example, if you know that evenings are a busy time for you, plan your habit for the morning instead. If you struggle with motivation, consider finding an accountability partner who can support and encourage you. Overcoming resistance is also about celebrating progress, no matter how small. Each step forward, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is a victory worth acknowledging. Celebrating your efforts reinforces your commitment and reminds you that change is possible. Think of Anna, a mother of two who wanted to spend more time reading for personal growth. By committing to just 10 minutes a day and celebrating each book she finished, Anna transformed reading into a joyful habit that fits seamlessly into her busy life. Ultimately, breaking barriers is about persistence and self-compassion. Change is a journey, not a destination, and setbacks are a natural part of the process. Instead of being discouraged by slip-ups, view them as opportunities to learn and grow. Remember that every time you overcome resistance, you're strengthening your ability to create lasting change. Now, let's bring this chapter to a close with a practical exercise. Reflect on a habit you've tried to build in the past but struggled to maintain. Ask yourself, what resistance did you face? Was it fear, comfort, or overwhelm? Write down one specific barrier that held you back and brainstorm a solution to overcome it. For example, if fear of failure was the issue, remind yourself that every attempt is a step closer to success. Commit to starting your habit again with this new approach and track your progress for 1 week. Breaking through resistance is one of the most challenging but rewarding parts of habit formation. As you confront and overcome these barriers, you'll discover a newfound sense of strength and resilience. The process of change isn't always easy, but it's worth every effort. Keep pushing forward. You're capable of incredible growth. Chapter 4: The Daily Edge. Harnessing small wins for big results. Success often feels like a monumental achievement, something grand and distant. But what if the key to extraordinary results lies in the small, seemingly insignificant wins you achieve every day? These small victories, while easy to overlook, are the building blocks of lasting change. They provide momentum, confidence, and clarity as you navigate your journey toward a success-focused mindset. This chapter will show you how to harness the power of small wins to create big results over time. The concept of small wins is rooted in the idea that progress, no matter how minor, fuels motivation and reinforces positive behaviors. Every small success you achieve is a signal to your brain that you're capable of change, and this belief propels you forward. Imagine you decide to save money for a long-term goal. Instead of focusing on the overwhelming amount you need, you start by setting aside just $5 a day. Over time, this small, consistent action adds up, both financially and mentally. Each saved dollar becomes a reminder of your commitment and a step closer to your goal. Consider the story of Daniel, a software developer who struggled with productivity. He often felt overwhelmed by his workload and found it difficult to complete tasks. Rather than trying to overhaul his entire workday, Daniel decided to start with one small win: clearing his email inbox every morning. This simple task gave him a sense of accomplishment and set a productive tone for the rest of the day. As his confidence grew, he began tackling larger projects with the same mindset, and soon his productivity skyrocketed. Small wins are powerful because they build momentum. Think of it as pushing a boulder up a hill. The first push is the hardest, but each small movement makes the next one easier. Over time, the momentum you've built carries the boulder forward with less effort. The same principle applies to habits. When you focus on achieving small wins, you create a positive feedback loop that makes continued progress feel natural and rewarding. Another reason small wins are so effective is that they're manageable and achievable, even on your busiest days. Large goals, while inspiring, can feel overwhelming and lead to procrastination. Breaking these goals into smaller, actionable steps makes them less intimidating and more attainable. For example, if you want to write a book, focusing on writing 1 page a day is far less daunting than aiming to complete an entire chapter in one sitting. Over time, these small efforts compound, and before you know it, you've achieved your larger goal. The psychological impact of small wins cannot be overstated. Each success releases dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical, which reinforces your motivation and encourages you to keep going. This is why celebrating small wins is so important. Acknowledging your progress, no matter how minor, builds your confidence and strengthens your belief in your ability to achieve even more. For instance, Olivia, a busy teacher, wanted to adopt a healthier lifestyle. Instead of overhauling her diet and exercise routine all at once, she started with one small win: drinking an extra glass of water each day. This simple habit gave her the confidence to add more changes, like walking for 10 minutes after dinner or replacing sugary snacks with fruit. Each small victory motivated her to continue, and over time she completely transformed her habits and felt healthier than ever. Small wins also help you stay resilient in the face of setbacks. Life is unpredictable, and there will be days when sticking to your habits feels more challenging. On these days, focusing on small wins allows you to maintain a sense of progress and prevent feelings of failure. Remember, success is not about being perfect. It's about showing up consistently and doing your best, even when the circumstances aren't ideal. To harness the power of small wins, it's important to track your progress. Keeping a record of your achievements, no matter how small, serves as a tangible reminder of how far you've come. Whether it's a journal, an app, or a simple checklist, tracking your wins reinforces your commitment and gives you a sense of accomplishment. Imagine the satisfaction of looking back at a month's worth of small wins and realizing how much you've achieved through consistent effort. Ultimately, small wins teach you that change doesn't have to be dramatic or overwhelming. It's the small, steady actions that lead to lasting transformation. Each step forward, no matter how minor, brings you closer to your goals and reinforces the habits that will sustain your success in the long term. Now let's bring this chapter to a close with a practical exercise. Take a moment to think about a goal you're currently working toward. Break it down into the smallest possible step you can take today. For example, if your goal is to improve your fitness, commit to doing just 5 push-ups or taking a 5-minute walk. Write down this small action and complete it today. Then, reflect on how accomplishing this small win makes you feel. Over the next week, continue building on these small actions and track your progress to see how they add up. Small wins are the secret weapon in your journey to success. By focusing on these manageable victories, you build momentum, confidence, and resilience. Remember, it's not about making a giant leap, but about taking consistent steps forward. With each small win, you're creating a powerful foundation for a success-focused mindset and a fulfilling life. Keep moving forward, the results will speak for themselves. Chapter 5. Mindset Matters. Cultivating a growth-oriented perspective. Have you ever wondered why some people thrive in the face of challenges, while others shrink away? The answer lies in their mindset. The way you think shapes the way you act, and the way you act determines the results you achieve. To build a success-focused mindset, it's essential to cultivate a perspective that embraces growth, resilience, and possibility. This chapter will help you understand the profound impact of mindset on your habits and guide you in developing a perspective that drives progress and achievement. At the heart of this concept is the idea of a growth mindset, a term coined by psychologist Carol Dweck. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. It stands in contrast to a fixed mindset, where people believe their talents and capabilities are set in stone. If you think you're either good or bad at something, and there's no changing it, you're operating from a fixed mindset. But when you believe you can improve with practice and dedication, you're embracing a growth mindset. Consider the story of Mark, a middle school teacher who struggled with public speaking. Every time he had to address a large audience, he would panic, convinced that he was simply not a natural speaker. For years, this belief held him back from advancing in his career. One day, a colleague introduced him to the concept of a growth mindset. Inspired, Mark decided to treat public speaking as a skill he could learn. He began by practicing short presentations in front of a mirror, then gradually spoke in front of small groups. Over time, his confidence grew, and he became a sought-after speaker in his field. By shifting his mindset, Mark unlocked his potential and achieved something he once thought was impossible. A growth mindset transforms challenges into opportunities. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, you begin to view them as valuable lessons. This perspective empowers you to take risks, experiment, and push yourself beyond your comfort zone. When you adopt a growth mindset, you're no longer paralyzed by fear of failure because you understand that mistakes are part of the learning process. For example, imagine Emma, an aspiring chef who wanted to master baking. Her first attempts at making bread were disastrous, flat, overcooked, and inedible. Instead of giving up, she analyzed what went wrong, sought advice from experienced bakers, and practiced consistently. Each mistake brought her closer to understanding the craft. Today, Emma runs a successful bakery, and she credits her growth mindset for helping her turn early failures into a thriving business. To cultivate a growth mindset, start by paying attention to the way you talk to yourself. Your inner dialogue has a powerful influence on your beliefs and actions. When you face a challenge, do you tell yourself, "I'm not good at this," or "I can't do it"? If so, reframe these thoughts into empowering statements like, "I'm learning how to do this," or "I can improve with practice." This simple shift in language can have a profound impact on your mindset and your ability to persevere. Another way to nurture a growth mindset is by seeking out new experiences and embracing curiosity. The more you expose yourself to different challenges and opportunities, the more you'll discover what you're capable of. Think of James, a software engineer who decided to learn a new programming language in his spare time. At first, the unfamiliar syntax and concepts felt overwhelming. But as he continued to practice, he grew more confident and realized that learning was a skill in itself. By approaching challenges with curiosity instead of fear, James expanded his abilities and opened new doors in his career. It's also important to surround yourself with people who inspire and support your growth. The attitudes and behaviors of those around you can significantly influence your own mindset. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity or fixed beliefs, it can be difficult to maintain a growth-oriented perspective. Seek out mentors, peers, or communities that encourage you to learn, experiment, and strive for more. Cultivating a growth mindset doesn't mean ignoring difficulties or pretending everything is easy. It's about facing challenges with resilience and determination, knowing that every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. When you encounter setbacks, remind yourself that they are temporary and that every effort you make contributes to your growth. Now, let's bring this chapter to a close with a practical exercise. Reflect on a recent challenge or setback you faced. Write down how you initially felt about the situation and the thoughts that ran through your mind. Then, rewrite those thoughts from a growth mindset perspective. For example, instead of "I failed," write, "I learned something valuable from this experience." Next, identify one specific action you can take to apply what you've learned and move forward. Commit to taking this action within the next week. Your mindset is the foundation of your success. By cultivating a growth-oriented perspective, you unlock the ability to learn, adapt, and thrive in any situation. Remember, every step you take to shift your mindset brings you closer to achieving your goals and living the life you desire. Keep believing in your potential. The possibilities are endless. Chapter 6. Triggers and Cues. Setting up your environment for success. Have you ever wondered why some habits seem effortless while others feel impossible to maintain? The secret often lies in the power of triggers and cues. These are the subtle, yet powerful signals in your environment that prompt your actions, shaping your behaviors without you even realizing it. When you learn how to harness triggers intentionally, you create an environment that supports your success and makes habit formation easier and more sustainable. Triggers and cues act as the starting point of any habit. They can be external, like the sound of an alarm clock or the sight of your running shoes by the door, or internal, like feeling hungry or tired. Your brain relies on these signals to decide what action to take next, which is why they're so essential to habit formation. The key to building successful habits lies in creating triggers that encourage positive behaviors while reducing cues that reinforce negative ones. Consider Sarah, a graphic designer who wanted to build a daily writing habit. Initially, she struggled because her workspace was cluttered and her notebook was buried under piles of papers. Her environment lacked clear cues to prompt her new habit. Once she placed her notebook and pen on her desk every night before bed, she found it much easier to sit down and write each morning. The simple act of seeing her tools ready and waiting became a powerful trigger that set her habit in motion. Another example is John, a college student who wanted to cut back on his social media use. He realized his phone's notifications were acting as constant triggers, prompting him to check his apps throughout the day. To reduce this cue, he turned off non-essential notifications and placed his phone in another room while studying. Without the constant reminders, his urge to scroll diminished, and he was able to focus on his work more effectively. The beauty of triggers is that they can be intentionally designed to fit your goals. If you want to build a new habit, start by identifying an existing routine or object in your environment that can serve as a trigger. For instance, if you want to start meditating, you might use brushing your teeth as a cue to sit and practice for a few minutes afterward. By attaching your new habit to something familiar, you create a seamless connection that makes it easier to follow through. Visual cues are especially effective because they're easy for your brain to notice and respond to. For example, if you want to drink more water, placing a water bottle on your desk or countertop can serve as a constant reminder to stay hydrated. Similarly, if you're trying to eat healthier, keeping fruits and vegetables in plain sight rather than hidden in the fridge can encourage better choices. But it's not just about adding triggers, it's also about removing cues that encourage unwanted behaviors. Think about the habits you want to break and identify the triggers that fuel them. For example, if late-night snacking is a challenge, keeping tempting snacks out of sight or not buying them at all can help reduce the urge. Small changes like these can have a significant impact on your behavior over time. Triggers and cues also work well when combined with habit stacking, a technique where you attach a new habit to an existing one. This approach leverages the momentum of your current routines to build new behaviors. For instance, if you already have a habit of making coffee in the morning, you could stack a quick journaling session onto that routine. By tying the new habit to something you already do consistently, you create a natural flow that reinforces both behaviors. Let's take a closer look at Emma, a busy parent who wanted to incorporate exercise into her daily routine. She realized she always had a few minutes of downtime after dropping her kids off at school. Emma decided to use this time as her cue for a short workout. She kept her exercise clothes and sneakers in her car so she could head straight to the gym or go for a walk. This simple trigger made it easier for her to stick with her fitness habit, even on hectic days. It's important to remember that triggers are not a one-size-fits-all solution. What works for one person may not work for another. The key is to experiment and find the cues that resonate with your unique lifestyle and goals. Pay attention to the times and places where you feel most motivated or energized, and use those moments as opportunities to establish new habits. Creating an environment that supports your habits doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Small adjustments, like organizing your workspace, setting out your workout gear, or minimizing distractions, can make a significant difference. Over time, these intentional changes to your environment help your desired habits become second nature. Now, let's bring this chapter to a close with a practical exercise. Choose one habit you want to build or strengthen. Take a few moments to reflect on your current environment and identify a potential trigger that could prompt this habit. For example, if you want to start reading more, consider placing a book on your pillow as a cue to read before bed. Next, think about any cues that might be hindering your progress and brainstorm ways to minimize or eliminate them. Write down your plan, implement it, and track your progress for 1 week. At the end of the week, evaluate how these changes influenced your behavior and make adjustments as needed. By mastering triggers and cues, you take control of the factors that shape your habits and behaviors. An environment designed for success doesn't just make habit formation easier. It empowers you to stay consistent and achieve your goals with greater ease. With every intentional change you make, you're setting yourself up for lasting success. Keep refining your environment and watching as your habits flourish. Chapter 7. Momentum Mastery. Keeping your habits alive and thriving. Starting a habit is an exciting step, but keeping it alive and thriving over time is where true transformation happens. How do you maintain momentum once the novelty wears off? Sustaining habits is about building consistency and adapting to challenges without losing sight of your goals. In this chapter, you'll discover how to master momentum and ensure your habits stay strong, even in the face of obstacles. Momentum is the force that keeps you moving forward. It's what transforms a single step into a steady journey. The secret to maintaining momentum lies in consistency. Showing up for your habits day after day, even when it's inconvenient or difficult. The more consistent you are, the stronger your habits become, and the easier it is to keep them going. Think of momentum as a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's small and slow, but with each rotation, it picks up speed and grows in size. Your habits work the same way. Consider Daniel, a high school teacher who wanted to improve his physical health by exercising regularly. At first, he was motivated and going to the gym felt exciting. But as the weeks went on, he started missing workouts due to late nights at work or feeling tired. Daniel realized that waiting for motivation wasn't enough to sustain his habit. Instead, he focused on consistency. Even on days when he felt exhausted, he committed to doing a shorter workout or just showing up at the gym. Over time, this dedication to consistency helped him build momentum, and exercising became a natural part of his routine. One of the biggest challenges to sustaining momentum is the inevitable dip in motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like a wave. Relying on it alone to maintain your habits is a recipe for inconsistency. Instead, focus on discipline and structure. Setting specific times for your habits and sticking to them creates a sense of reliability, making it easier to follow through, even when you don't feel particularly motivated. Real-life examples highlight the power of structure. Take Maria, a writer who struggled to stay consistent with her craft. She often waited for inspiration to strike before sitting down to write, which led to long periods of inactivity. Once she started writing at the same time every day, regardless of whether she felt inspired, her output improved dramatically. By prioritizing consistency over perfection, Maria built momentum and made writing a daily habit. Momentum also thrives on tracking progress. Keeping a record of your habits provides tangible evidence of your efforts, which can be incredibly motivating. Whether it's a habit tracker app, a journal, or a simple calendar, tracking your progress helps you stay accountable and recognize your achievements. For example, Andrew, a business consultant, wanted to meditate every morning. He used a habit tracker to mark each day he completed his meditation. Seeing a streak of consecutive days was a powerful motivator that kept him committed, even on mornings when he felt rushed or distracted. Another essential aspect of momentum mastery is flexibility. Life is unpredictable, and there will be times when circumstances disrupt your habits. Rather than letting setbacks derail your progress, learn to adapt and adjust. For instance, if you usually go for a run in the morning but wake up to rain, consider doing a home workout instead. Adapting your habits to fit your situation helps you maintain consistency without feeling defeated by unexpected obstacles. Momentum is also fueled by small rewards. Celebrating your progress, no matter how minor, reinforces your commitment and keeps you motivated. For instance, Sarah, a student, rewarded herself with a favorite snack after completing a week of consistent study sessions. These small rewards created positive associations with her study habit, making it easier to sustain. One of the most important lessons in momentum mastery is to embrace imperfection. No one is perfect, and there will be days when you miss a habit or fall short of your goals. What matters is how quickly you get back on track. Instead of viewing missed days as failures, treat them as opportunities to learn and grow. Remember, consistency doesn't mean perfection, it means showing up more often than not. To build momentum, it's helpful to focus on the 2-day rule. This simple principle involves avoiding missing your habit for more than 2 consecutive days. If you miss a day, make it a priority to get back on track the following day. This approach prevents small slip-ups from snowballing into larger setbacks and helps you maintain long-term consistency. Now, let's bring this chapter to a close with a practical exercise. Identify one habit you're currently working on. Commit to tracking your progress for the next 7 days using a journal, an app, or a calendar. Each day, reflect on what helped you stick to your habit or what made it challenging. If you miss a day, write down the reason and how you plan to get back on track the following day. At the end of the week, review your progress and celebrate your successes, no matter how small. Reflect on how tracking your habit influenced your momentum and consider continuing this practice in the future. Momentum is the bridge between starting a habit and making it a lasting part of your life. By focusing on consistency, tracking progress, adapting to challenges, and celebrating your wins, you create a powerful force that keeps you moving forward. Remember, every small effort contributes to your momentum, bringing you closer to your goals. Keep showing up. Your habits are the foundation of your success. Chapter 8. The Ripple Effect. How good habits transform your life. Every small action you take creates a ripple effect that spreads far beyond its starting point. Like a pebble dropped into a pond, the habits you form impact not only the specific areas they're intended for, but also your overall mindset, relationships, and opportunities. Good habits have the power to create a cascading effect of positive change, enhancing various aspects of your life in ways you might not initially anticipate. This chapter explores the profound impact of habits and how they can transform your life when nurtured and maintained. Good habits rarely exist in isolation. When you establish a positive routine in one area of your life, it often leads to improvements in others. For example, consider Tom, a marketing executive who decided to incorporate daily exercise into his routine. His initial goal was to improve his physical health, but over time, he noticed unexpected benefits. He felt more energized at work, his mood improved, and he became more patient with his family. By prioritizing his health, Tom unknowingly set off a chain reaction that enhanced his productivity, relationships, and overall well-being. The ripple effect of habits works because of the interconnected nature of human behavior. Positive habits create a sense of achievement, which boosts your confidence and motivates you to tackle other challenges. Imagine you commit to spending 10 minutes each morning tidying up your living space. This small habit can make you feel more organized and in control, which might inspire you to tackle other tasks, like preparing healthier meals or planning your day more effectively. Over time, this series of small changes can lead to a significant transformation in your lifestyle. Another example is Emily, a college student who struggled with time management. She started by setting a daily goal to review her lecture notes for just 15 minutes each evening. As this habit became consistent, Emily noticed she felt less stressed about upcoming exams. The clarity and calm she gained from this small habit motivated her to plan her assignments more effectively and even find time for hobbies she had neglected. Her initial focus on study habits expanded into a balanced and fulfilling daily routine. The ripple effect also influences the way others perceive and interact with you. When you cultivate positive habits, you inspire those around you to adopt similar behaviors. For instance, imagine Mark, a team leader who decided to prioritize gratitude by regularly thanking his colleagues for their contributions. Over time, this habit not only improved team morale, but also encouraged others to express appreciation and work collaboratively. The positivity Mark introduced through a simple habit had a lasting impact on his team's culture and productivity. However, the ripple effect can work both ways. Negative habits can also spread, affecting your confidence, relationships, and opportunities. For example, neglecting self-care might lead to burnout, which can impact your mood and interactions with others. This is why cultivating good habits is so important, not just for your immediate goals, but for the overall quality of your life. To harness the ripple effect, it's essential to start small and build gradually. Focus on one habit that aligns with your values and goals, and let its positive impact naturally extend to other areas. For instance, if you want to improve your financial health, begin by tracking your expenses daily. As you become more aware of your spending habits, you might feel empowered to create a budget, save for long-term goals, or even explore investment opportunities. The initial habit of tracking your expenses becomes the foundation for broader financial success. An important aspect of the ripple effect is self-awareness. Pay attention to how your habits influence your emotions, energy levels, and relationships. Reflecting on these changes helps you recognize the far-reaching benefits of your actions, which reinforces your commitment to maintaining them. For example, Rachel, a busy entrepreneur, began practicing mindfulness for 10 minutes each morning. She soon noticed that this habit not only reduced her stress, but also made her more present and attentive during conversations with her team and family. This awareness deepened her appreciation for the habit and motivated her to continue. The ripple effect also teaches us that small habits are never too small to make a difference. Often, people dismiss minor changes, thinking they won't have a significant impact. However, it's the accumulation of these small actions over time that leads to meaningful transformation. Each habit you cultivate adds a drop to the pond, creating ripples that grow stronger and wider with consistency. At the heart of the ripple effect is the idea of alignment, ensuring your habits align with your values and long-term vision. When your habits reflect what matters most to you, they become easier to sustain and more impactful. For instance, if one of your core values is personal growth, adopting habits like reading, learning new skills, or seeking mentorship will naturally enhance other areas of your life, such as your career or relationships. The alignment between your habits and values amplifies their ripple effect, creating a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Now, let's bring this chapter to a close with a practical exercise. Think about one habit you've recently adopted or are planning to start. Take a few moments to reflect on how this habit might create a ripple effect in your life. Write down the potential benefits it could have, not just in the area you're focusing on, but in other aspects as well. For example, if your habit is exercising, consider how it might improve your energy, mood, productivity, and relationships. Over the next week, pay close attention to any changes you notice and jot them down. Reflect on how these ripples motivate you to stay consistent with your habit. The ripple effect reminds us that every small action has the power to create significant change. By focusing on good habits, you set off a chain reaction that can enhance your life in unexpected and profound ways. With each ripple, you move closer to the person you aspire to be and the life you want to create. Embrace the power of your habits and watch as their impact grows far beyond what you imagined. Chapter 9. Habit Stacking. Building Powerful Routines with Ease. Imagine how effortless your life could feel if your habits seamlessly flowed from one to the next, creating a routine that worked like a well-oiled machine. This is the power of habit stacking, a simple yet transformative strategy for building routines that align with your goals and make consistency second nature. In this chapter, you'll learn how to harness habit stacking to create powerful routines that support your success and simplify your daily life. Habit stacking involves linking a new habit to an existing one, creating a natural sequence that makes the new behavior easier to remember and execute. By attaching the desired habit to something you already do consistently, you build on an established foundation. This method leverages your brain's tendency to follow familiar patterns, reducing the effort required to adopt new behaviors. Consider Samantha, a lawyer who wanted to incorporate journaling into her daily routine. She struggled to remember to journal each day, even though she genuinely wanted to build the habit. Then, Samantha realized that she had a well-established habit of making coffee every morning. She decided to stack journaling onto her coffee routine by placing her notebook next to the coffee maker. Each morning, as her coffee brewed, she would spend 5 minutes journaling. The habit quickly became automatic because it was tied to an existing behavior she enjoyed. The beauty of habit stacking is its simplicity. By linking a new habit to something you already do, you eliminate the need for additional reminders or motivation. For example, if you want to practice gratitude, you might decide to list 3 things you're thankful for immediately after brushing your teeth at night. The act of brushing your teeth serves as the trigger, seamlessly integrating the new habit into your routine. Habit stacking also helps create momentum. When your habits flow naturally from one to the next, you build a rhythm that makes it easier to stay on track. Take Daniel, a fitness enthusiast who wanted to improve his morning routine. He started by stacking a short stretching session onto his existing habit of drinking a glass of water upon waking. After stretching, he added a quick meditation practice. Over time, these small habits merged into a cohesive morning routine that energized him for the day ahead. One of the most effective ways to design a habit stack is to focus on transitions in your day. Transitions, such as waking up, returning home from work, or preparing for bed, are natural opportunities to anchor new habits. For instance, imagine Mia, a student who wanted to review her class notes daily. She decided to stack this habit onto her existing routine of unpacking her backpack after school. The act of unpacking became the cue for reviewing her notes, making it an effortless part of her day. While habit stacking is simple, it's important to start small and build gradually. Trying to stack too many habits at once can feel overwhelming and reduce the effectiveness of the strategy. Instead, focus on adding one new habit to your routine at a time. Once that habit feels automatic, you can build onto it by adding another. Flexibility is another key to successful habit stacking. Life is unpredictable, and your routines may need to adapt to changing circumstances. For example, if you usually meditate after breakfast but have an early meeting one day, consider adjusting the sequence by meditating after lunch instead. The ability to adapt your habit stack without abandoning it ensures that your routines remain consistent over the long term. Habit stacking isn't just about creating routines. It's about designing a life that reflects your values and priorities. When you intentionally choose which habits to stack, you ensure that your daily actions align with your larger goals. For instance, if personal growth is a priority, you might stack habits like reading, journaling, or practicing mindfulness. Over time, these small, consistent actions create a routine that supports your development and helps you stay focused on what matters most. The cumulative effect of habit stacking can be transformative. Consider Carlos, a busy entrepreneur who wanted to improve his physical and mental health. He started by stacking a morning walk onto his habit of listening to podcasts. Next, he added a few minutes of stretching after his walk and a gratitude journal entry after stretching. These simple habits, when combined into a routine, significantly improved Carlos's overall well-being without feeling burdensome. Habit stacking also creates a sense of accomplishment. Each habit you complete within a stack reinforces your belief in your ability to follow through. This confidence motivates you to continue building and refining your routines, creating a positive cycle of growth and achievement. Now, let's bring this chapter to a close with a practical exercise. Choose one new habit you'd like to adopt and identify an existing habit you can stack it onto. For example, if you want to start meditating, consider stacking it onto your morning coffee or evening wind-down routine. Write down the sequence of actions for your habit stack, including the cue, the existing habit, and the new habit. Practice this sequence every day for the next week, paying attention to how seamlessly the new habit integrates into your routine. At the end of the week, reflect on your experience and adjust the stack if needed. Habit stacking is a powerful tool for creating routines that support your goals and simplify your life. By building on the habits you already have, you create a strong foundation for positive change. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about consistency and intentionality. With each habit stack you create, you're designing a life that reflects your values and moves you closer to your vision of success. Keep stacking, and watch as your habits transform your life one step at a time. Chapter 10. Sustained Success, Making Your Habits Last a Lifetime. Building habits is an incredible achievement, but the ultimate goal is to make those habits last a lifetime. What's the point of creating routines if they fade away as quickly as they begin? Sustained success comes from transforming your habits into an integral part of who you are, a seamless, natural element of your daily life. In this final chapter, you'll learn how to anchor your habits deeply, ensuring they remain a constant force for growth and fulfillment. The foundation of lasting habits lies in identity. When your habits align with the person you aspire to become, they stop feeling like tasks and start feeling like an expression of your true self. For example, if you see yourself as a healthy person, exercising regularly and eating nutritious food become natural extensions of your identity. The more you practice these habits, the more they reinforce your belief in this identity, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of growth. Take Megan, a teacher who struggled to maintain a consistent reading habit. Instead of setting a goal to read a certain number of books, she began identifying as a reader. This subtle shift in perspective changed the way she approached her habit. Reading was no longer a chore, it was something she did because it reflected who she was. Over time, Megan's identity as a reader became so deeply ingrained that she found herself reaching for a book whenever she had a free moment, without even thinking about it. Sustained success also requires a focus on small, consistent actions, rather than dramatic, short-term efforts. The habits that last are those that are realistic and sustainable. It's better to meditate for 5 minutes a day consistently than to aim for an hour-long session and give up after a week. Small actions may not seem significant at first, but their cumulative impact over time is profound. Think about Robert, a software engineer who wanted to learn a new language. Instead of trying to master complex grammar rules overnight, he committed to learning just one new word each day. At first, this seemed too simple to make a difference, but after a year, Robert had learned over 300 new words, significantly improving his fluency. His small, consistent actions led to lasting progress, proving that sustainability trumps intensity. Another key to making habits last is building resilience against setbacks. Life is unpredictable, and no habit journey is free from obstacles. What matters is not whether you encounter challenges, but how you respond to them. When you miss a day or fall off track, avoid the temptation to view it as a failure. Instead, see it as a temporary detour and focus on getting back on track as quickly as possible. For instance, Sarah, a busy mother, had established a solid exercise routine. One week, her schedule was derailed by a series of unexpected events, and she missed several workouts. Instead of abandoning her habit entirely, Sarah reminded herself that setbacks were part of the process. She resumed her routine the following week, focusing on the progress she had made rather than the days she had missed. Her ability to bounce back kept her habit alive, proving that resilience is a crucial component of sustained success. Creating an environment that supports your habits is another powerful strategy for longevity. Surrounding yourself with cues, tools, and people that reinforce your habits makes it easier to stay consistent. For example, if you're committed to journaling, keeping your notebook and pen in a visible, accessible place ensures you never forget. Similarly, spending time with people who share your goals can provide motivation and accountability. Long-term habits also thrive on variety and growth. While consistency is important, doing the same thing in the same way every day can lead to boredom and stagnation. To keep your habits fresh and engaging, look for opportunities to challenge yourself and explore new approaches. For example, if you've established a habit of running, consider trying different routes, distances, or paces. These small changes keep your routine exciting and help you stay motivated. Reflecting on your progress regularly is another important practice for sustaining habits. Take time to evaluate what's working, what isn't, and how your habits are impacting your life. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small, and use setbacks as opportunities to learn and adjust. This reflection not only reinforces your commitment, but also helps you refine your habits to better align with your evolving goals and values. The journey of habit formation doesn't end once a habit becomes automatic. It's a continuous process of growth and adaptation. As your life changes, your habits may need to evolve to meet new circumstances and priorities. Embrace this flexibility as a natural part of the process, and remember that every adjustment brings you closer to a life that reflects your true self. Now, let's bring this chapter to a close with a practical exercise. Take a moment to think about one habit you've developed during this journey. Reflect on how it aligns with your identity and values. Write down 3 ways this habit has positively impacted your life. Next, consider one potential challenge that could disrupt your habit in the future and brainstorm a strategy to overcome it. Finally, make a commitment to review and celebrate your progress regularly, ensuring your habit remains a source of growth and fulfillment. Sustaining habits for a lifetime requires intention, resilience, and a deep connection to your identity. By focusing on small, consistent actions, building resilience against setbacks, and creating an environment that supports your growth, you can ensure your habits remain a powerful force in your life. As you continue on this journey, remember that every habit you cultivate brings you closer to the person you want to be. You have the tools to create lasting success. Now it's time to make it your reality. Conclusion. Throughout this journey, we've explored the transformative power of habits, how they shape your mindset, influence your actions, and ultimately define your success. From understanding the foundations of habits to building momentum, creating powerful routines, and sustaining them for a lifetime, you now have the tools to design a life that aligns with your goals and values. Remember, lasting change doesn't happen overnight, but through small, consistent actions that ripple out into every area of your life. Thank you for joining me in exploring these concepts and taking steps toward building a success-focused mindset. If you found this content helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more empowering insights and strategies. Your support means the world and helps us continue creating content that inspires positive change. Let's keep growing together.